All right, so when you're putting this together, you'll see there's two screws here in the front and then one towards the top there. Those two screws are what you're going to use to put this post in. So this post right here has already been installed. Now, how do you do so? Let's move a little closer. You'll see you just kind of put the post on. This is the front, so it's going to be the angled one. There's two angled and then two straight. So the angled one goes in the front, and you have these two screws here. These screws, you'll notice that this here is a kind of a thinner screw, and it's got like a flatter head on it. And then you have this somewhat fatter screw on the right here. That's the ones you're going to use to install these posts. So these ones we're not using yet. So I just put some washers. They have a ton of washers. It doesn't tell you where to use the washers, so I just kind of use them anyway. So I put two screws in here, and then there's one in the back here. Now these angled screws are really, really close, like tight. So you can see my screwdriver, I couldn't get a good turn on. This is a big one. This one is also a smaller screwdriver. This didn't get in there as well. So I needed to turn, half a turn, like kind of situate the screwdriver. So it's something to be aware of with this. And then just make sure that you have, there's like an edge on here. Let's look at these here. So you can see this one has this edge here. That's going to go on the inside. So the edge is right here where my finger is. That's where the glass is going to slide into. You don't want to put it on the out because your glass is just going to slide between this post and this metal here. So you don't want to block, you don't want to obstruct that. So now we have all four of these posts installed. You can see we have the two angled in the front and the two straight in the back. The next step is to put the top on, this top unit. Now you'll notice that there's two screws here missing. These are required to be removed. They are these screws that you have to take out in order to put this front screw in. You take these screws out so this top part can be lifted up, and then this will go in farther. And then you kind of put these together and you'll screw in. These back screws in the back here, this here and the other one over there, which is not in yet, these do not have to have this top part removed. So you have to take these two screws off on each side to kind of pick up on this, where these vents are a little bit, to allow you to screw these screws in. I found with the front, it is best to get a small screwdriver to install this screw here. And then you put this screw in first, I found, and then you screw these two in. Don't get them too tight until all the screws are in, and then you tighten each one. You kind of go around in a circle so they're all pretty tight. The back post I found, again, best idea is to screw in actually this one's a little different. In the back post, I found it best to be the two back screws first. And then you do this top one. This top one's pretty hard to get in, so I felt with the two rear ones installed first, it kind of gave me something sturdy to hold this, and then I could screw this one in and have to hold it with an extra hand. All right, now that both of these screws have been, this one's back in, this one's still out. The reason that it's out is because you have to make sure this lip comes down and over. So make this screw kind of loose, and just kind of push this over, and this will line up and kind of overhang it. And then you'll notice that this hole will line up. If you don't overlap this, the hole won't line up and your screw will go in crooked. But then that's why you want to kind of just make sure that this is overhanging this lip a little bit, and then you'll have a nice straight line to put this screw in. So once your posts are in and everything's tied together, your next part is to work on these. These are the shelf holders. Now this is how they come out of the box, and they look kind of crappy. It looked really bad to me at first, and then I realized that this is like a protective coating on it. So you'll notice the one on the right is shiny and glossy, the chrome, that's what it's supposed to look like. The one on the left still has that sticker on it. What I do is I just kind of get a corner here, and then once that corner is set, I just kind of roll my thumb a little bit and get the whole side done first. Once the side is done, then you kind of roll it all towards the middle and then pull off the other side. I found this part to be the most difficult part, and that's why I'm kind of passing on this little tip, because I was spending maybe 5 minutes on each one, peeling the tape off kind of like this and just doing bit by bit. But I figure if you roll it and kind of roll it towards the center. This is the best part. So there's 4 of these here, and you're going to go ahead and you're going to install these inside of this. Now you'll notice on one end it's a little longer. Let's get 2 of them here. So you'll see the one on the bottom is a little longer than the one on the top. I don't believe it matters, but on how you install them, but I've been installing the long one up towards the top. So let's go ahead and get inside of this and see what it looks like. Okay, now we're going to go inside. You'll notice there is a hole here and here. It's kind of like a slit. That's what you're going to slide these posts into that we just took that tape off of. So this is kind of, I wish I had my tripod. Tripod's not going to work too well. Let's go just slide in just like that. But what you're going to have to do is put one piece in inside of here. Find another hole. So let's go ahead and look at the top here. You'll notice right here, you have a slit. You're going to slide. That's why I said I put the longer side in towards the top. Now I can come in and you just drop it into there. Now that's not going to go anywhere unless you pick up on it. You just do that for all 4 sides, or all 4 pieces, and then you're going to hang the shelves, but that'll be the next step. All right, so the next part is once we have these metal rods up here to hold for the shelves, is to install the actual things that hold the shelves. So you'll notice that there's kind of an end here. This is going to hold the rack. And then you have 2 pieces here, which kind of bent. If you can maybe see them a little better like this. You can see they have a bend to them. That's kind of just hold the shelf, and you can see how this shelf is sitting here like this. And this little tab is sticking out. So it's a little difficult to see from this angle, but we'll go on the other side and see just how to do that. All right, so from the other angle, we'll kind of get my hand out of the way. You can see you just kind of pick up on this and move it, or you put it in here, just kind of drop it down. Obviously you want to have both sides level. And there you go. Very simple. Of course you want to make sure the other side has also the same amount of pegs. So what you could do here is you can count down 1, 2, 3, 4. You can put this in the 4th hole and do the same thing on the other side. Just count down again. Or you can put your shelf in and see how level it is from there. Pretty simple, easy to set up. So once your display case is all built, the next part is to put the glass. Now you'll see there's holes on here. This is where you're going to put the door handles. So there's 4 pieces that have holes in them. Those are your doors. And you have 2 of 2 different sizes. So this one here is going to be the front door, and I'll show you that in a second. Each piece of glass has a piece of cork on it, on each of the corners, just to help it protect it in shipping. So you're going to want to remove that piece of cork. It just is a little sticky it's not even sticky for your fingers, but on the glass it sticks really nice. So you're going to want to remove those. And also on each piece of the glass, it has a sticker that says, tempered glass. So you're going to be able to not have to worry about the heat. So like I said, this one, really hard to see in the video, but it's hard to see through, see the glass itself. Let's grab this one. You'll see, oh, okay, cool. So you can see here that this front piece of glass is for the front, and the one behind it is for the back of the case. And it's a little larger, taller, and it's a little bit wider, but not much. And you'll see that the holes on the doors are different as well. So that's how you're going to know. Well, you also know because you'll put this, you can't fit the big piece in the back of the case, and the smaller piece in the front of the case will fall out. So it's an easy way to see. To put these in, you do not have to remove anything out of the case, the racks and everything. Just going to go ahead and slide these in just like you would any other door. You slide the top piece in and then put the bottom in. All right, one step you want to do probably before you put the glass in the case is put the door handle on. So these are the door handles, and they are all the same. There's going to be 4 of them. I think you could take this off, but I wouldn't want to. This is kind of what makes it a little nice. It's like a wood finish sticker or decal on the handle. It just gives it a nice kind of texture too, as opposed to this metal slidey part. Nice feeling on it. And you'll notice on each end of it, there are holes for the screws. So the only screws you should have left is one extra of these big fat screws that are used for the pegs, for the stand. You don't need these anymore. You have one left, I guess just one extra. And then what you're going to be using is these screws here that we saw at the beginning. They're kind of flat. And all of your rubber washers, you have a ton of these things. You're going to be using them for this glass. So you're going to put one on the screw. You're going to put this screw through the hole. Let's go ahead and move this piece of glass down. You're going to put the screw through this hole. You're going to put your other washer on the other end, and then you're going to screw this into the door handle. And you'll notice I already have one completed here. So, yeah. You'll notice that you have the washer there on both sides of the screw to kind of protect it. Remember, you are working with glass, so you don't want to make these screws super tight. You want to make them tight just enough and not enough to actually crack the glass. And go ahead and do that on all 4 pieces of glass, put your handles on, and then we can go ahead and install it into the case. All right, you'll notice that I have one door installed here, so you just can kind of slide this. I have this one into the rear track of here. I'll put the other door in the front track. One little tip, while you're before you put your handles on all the glass, put one handle on each size of glass. Install it, so then you can get your other piece of glass and see which side you should put the handle on. You know, if I put the handle here, obviously it's not going to work. So I'm going to have to make sure that it's flipped over this way so the handle's on this side. So that's a little tip there. Put the handles on one piece of glass, bring the other piece out, see how it's going to go, and then put the handle in. That might help save you a little bit of time, hopefully. Also, make sure you put your racks in before you put the doors on, otherwise you won't be able to get your racks in there. I got one rack in there now, so that's good enough just for this video, putting it together. But we're going to want to take this door off, put the other racks in, and then we'll be able to use it. All right, the absolute last piece of this display case is this side glass, which you probably can't see. There's a lip here, and then there's 2 holders down here that you're going to put that glass in. You'll use a screwdriver to loosen these 2 bottom pieces so that they kind of, let's go ahead and do it. Put it on really tight. You're going to loosen this so that this clasp here kind of just rotates down a little bit. That's good enough. You'll slide the glass in. There's a lip up here. Slide that glass in. Push this back up and screw this back in nice and tight. Not too crazy because it's not going to go anywhere, but good enough. And then this glass is not going to move. And you have a nice seal on the side and the front and back there. All right, so about an hour it took me to put this completely together, and I wasn't really aware of how to put things together. The instruction manual is decent, but it does leave out a couple steps on it's just very straightforward of removing screws, putting these screws here. So there's a little bit of troubleshooting that I had to do, but not so bad. Hopefully if you watch this video, it was a lot easier to put this together. So hopefully you'll be able to do this in under an hour. So now that it's all together, you'll see that this part up here is kind of light. This has its own plug, and this will plug into the bottom of the fixture. So on the other side of me, on this right side of the appliance, it's got the plug, it comes down and it plugs right into the bottom of this, which then has power out to your strip. And on the rear of this is where all your instruments are for this. They have this thermostat that you can set. You can see the current temperature is on off switch. So I put a few things inside of it. I don't have any of the food just yet that we're going to be actually using this for. So I just put some bake pans, a bread pan, a cake pan, a pie pan in there, just so you can kind of see the dimensions on it. And again, you can adjust where these shelves are going to be located. So if you need certain ones to be narrow and some are going to be higher, you can do so. So by just removing the brackets and moving the shelves up and down. If you don't need 3 shelves, you need only 2, you can also do that. You can add a 4th shelf, but it does not come with the brackets that hold that 4th shelf in. So you're going to be a little hard stricken to do that. You're going to have to probably figure out how you're going to be able to do it yourself. But there is room in here to do it. And I'm pretty sure if you contact the manufacturer, because they're pretty cool, they could probably send you some extra ones too. So let's go ahead and power the unit on and look at the instrument panel in the back. All right, so it's on. You can see that the light panel is somewhat lit up and it beams light straight down into the unit. There is a light right about 6 inches in that comes down and shines upon inside all your product here. It's really bright, so you can see a lot more what's going on there. Let's go ahead and get a little closer and look at the instruments again on the back. Instrument panel, you can see there's a thermostat. It is in Celsius, so if you are used to Fahrenheit, you might have to have a little problem. You have your light on to show you that the heat is on. It's actually really warm right now just by having it on just for a minute or two. Your light switch, it's going to show your power. This light switch you see is going to be actually the light switch inside the unit. So you'll see that the light turns on. I don't even know if I can show you that. There's the light, and it's off. And then you have your power line to the wall. Now I mentioned earlier that you have a plug on the side here. That's actually for the light that's up top. That's connected to that light switch. So if you were to disconnect this plug here, this light switch will no longer work. So after about an hour putting this thing together, I'm pretty satisfied with it so far. We kind of just used it really quick in the house for maybe 10-15 minutes just to kind of see how it works, and we're happy with it. It's keeping the stuff inside warm. We're able to keep see what the temperature is, so in case something is wrong, if it's not hot enough for us, we can adjust the temperature. We're used to Celsius, so that's not a problem for us in particular. The doors on the front and back are really nice, easy to use. They don't get hot because it is tempered glass, so you don't have to worry about burning yourself too easy. You're not going to really burn yourself on the glass so much. The only thing I would mention is cleaning. Inside the book, it does mention to use different cleaners for the paint. So I think that's kind of standard anyway. If you use a lot of certain things in the kitchen, you know that you can't use certain cleaners for stainless and stuff. So hopefully you're aware of that, because you do have this on the bottom, this chrome, this stainless here, and on the inside. Just one thing to mention, so just make sure you read the book. The book also has a good diagram of the voltage meters and the voltage ratings and stuff. So in case you ever have to do any work on this, the book shows you exactly how to do so. And really good product. We're really happy with what we have so far. So hopefully I'll be able to put some pictures up in a few weeks with us actually using it.